Hey there, welcome to Newsstream TV, happenings across the globe at your fingertip. Do well to like this video by giving it a thumbs up, share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Enjoy.
This situation is actually a few days old. I was watching what action will be taken by the House of Assembly, by Senate, and even by the affected politicians in Rivers State, whom I expect to be in the court by now, because above the above the president himself, there's the law, and I expect those who are affected to take the primary step. Let me confess that I was surprised at the ease with which this emergency law, that step, was applauded and passed. And then the critical question, even within the powers of a president under democratic dispensation, there are areas of discretion. And you're quite right to point out this wholesale suspension of everything to government. I think that's an over excessive response within the rights and the powers. We're assuming now, let's say that the president is constitutionally right, but within his powers, there are also areas of discretion. And I think that the wholesale scuttling of the democratic existence in the rivers was excessive. I think it could have been managed much better, much more economically. I think the president did not sort of curb the extent. He didn't economize on his presidential emergency powers. On that issue, I agree with you absolutely. There's an issue of the Constitution. Is the president's action constitutional? And I hope the affected politicians, governor and representatives, that they test this all the way up so that we get a clearer picture once and for all. Instead of running around in circles from regime to regime, it should be possible by now for one to be able to say confidently that this action is illegal, is unconstitutional, or otherwise. So for now, we can only leave it to the constitutional lawyers to guide us. Now, the next question is it politically wise? In my view, this takes us on a slippery slope. It's not what I would have liked to see happen right now with all our struggle to attain a federal structure. The spirit of it, in my view, is contrary to the spirit of federalism. Now, it's very carefully and deliberately, because this does not vitiate maybe the rightness of the action. It does not establish the wrongness. But with my commitment to a genuine federal structure, when an event like this happens, I say we're back on the slippery slope. And I hope that it is tested.
Rivers Emergency Rule. Presidency fought Goodluck Jonathan and Soyinka for condemning FUBARA and lawmakers' suspension. The former President Goodluck Jonathan and Nobel Laureate Soyinka have spoken against the suspension of elected officers in Rivers State. While Jonathan described the development as capable of bringing Nigeria into dispute, Soyinka said it was against the spirit of federalism. President Tinubu had, on March 18, declared a state of emergency in Rivers State, citing the breakdown of governance as a result of the war of attrition between Governor Siminalayi Fubara and the state lawmakers, as well as attacks on oil facilities in the state. Tinubu also suspended Fubara, his deputy Ngozi Odu, and members of the State House of Assembly. He therefore sworn in a retired Chief of Naval Staff as a state's sole administrator. The president relied on Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federation of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to back its action. 48 hours after the declaration, the National Assembly approved the emergency rule in Rivers State, though some lawmakers expressed their opposition to it. However, many stakeholders, including governors elected under the People's Democratic Party, the Nigerian Bar Association, the Nigerian Labour Congress, senior advocates of Nigeria, and civil society organizations, have spoken against the emergency rule. Speaking at the Hasek Satumari Foundation in Abuja on Saturday, Jonathan condemned the suspension of democratic rule in Rivers State, saying he was disappointed that elected officials were removed. These actions by key actors in the executive and legislative arms of government paint the country in a negative light, Jonathan, who was the chairman of the program, said. The former president maintained that the image and investment opportunities of the country heavily depended on the actions of the executive, the legislature, and judiciary. He blamed the three arms of government for their roles in the Rivers crisis, accusing them of engaging in abuse of power. The key actors in Nigeria, from the executive to the legislative and the judiciary, know the correct thing to do, but they are refusing to do it. They are pretending to asleep and waking such a person is extremely difficult because the person knows the right thing. A clear abuse of office, clear abuse of power, clear abuse of privileges, cutting across the three arms of government, from the executive through the parliament and the judiciary, Jonathan said. He noted that though it was not the norm for a former president to comment on some issues, so not to heat up the polity, his comment was necessitated by persistent calls from many Nigerians for him to speak on the event in Rivers State as a prominent son of the Niger Delta. The former president said it was difficult for anyone to have faith in the judiciary in a situation where an individual dictated what to do to the bench. While presiding over the affairs of the country, Jonathan declared a state of emergency in three northeast states, Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa, in May 2013 due to the Boko Haram insurgents. But democratic institutions in those states were not suspended. On his part, Soyinka said the declaration was against the spirit of federalism. The Nobel Laureate, who spoke to an international news outlet, the African Report, maintained that the declaration of a state of emergency in the manner with which it was carried out betrayed federalism. According to Soyinka, the 1999 Constitution gives too much power to the president, saying there was the need for a national discussion on the matter. He said, if it is constitutionally right, then I think it is about time we sat down and amended the Constitution to make sure that it operates as a genuine federal entity. The government is over-centralized. The debate will go on whether the state of emergency was in the first place a wise decision. But in terms of fundamental principles, I believe that this is against the federal spirit of association. I found that the Constitution has put too much power in the hands of the president. The system we are operating right now is not the best for a pluralistic society like ours. This is a fundamental principle I have always heard. He stated that Nigeria must hold a national conference to change the country's foundation, adding the The federal spirit of association is a cardinal principle, and for that reason, some of us have called again and again for a national conference to really accord ourselves an automatic people's constitution right now. In principles, these actions is against the federal imperative. Reacting, the senior special assistant to the president on media and publicity, Temitope Ajayi, said, while Soyinka and Jonathan were respected statesmen, their opinions were personal. He said Professor Soyinka and the former President Goodluck Jonathan are respected statesmen, like many Nigerians that have offered varied opinions on the President's declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State. The two distinguished Nigerians have also offered their own opinions too. President Tinubu has a country to govern, and he has exercised his power under the 1999 Constitution as amended. President Tinubu has a duty to preserve the corporate existence of Nigeria. He won't allow any part of the country or state to descend into chaos. The Supreme Court ruled that there is no functioning government in Rivers State known to the Constitution of Nigeria. President Tinubu won't fail in his scaled duty to protect and preserve the country. So guys, what's your take on this? Please kindly drop your comments in the comment section below. As you can see, the presidency is not saying what they did as wrong. So this is where the problem lies. Like what Goodluck Jonathan said, someone who is pretending to be sleeping, it is very difficult for you to, wake that person. That is just the truth. It's really very difficult. So guys, I'm dropping it here. Please drop your comments below the comment section. And don't forget to give us a thumbs up. And share this video, let it go viral. Let Nigerians understand what is happening today in the Nigerian political landscape. Thank you, and bye for now.